So today we're discussing, where am I? The Keeper by Tananarive Due, Stephen Barnes, and Marco Finnegan.
Yes.
It is a horror book, very much. A little bit about it. A young black girl finds herself trapped between desperation and her family's dark history. So Aisha has suffered a loss. Her parents were killed in a car accident, and she is now living with her grandmother. And then her grandmother's health deteriorates really quickly, and she's surviving on her own. Basically, that's how it starts.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
what were your overall thoughts and feelings about this book?
I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed the story itself. I thought it was really interesting. The whole keeper aspect I thought was really like interesting and unique. I read in the back that it was initially supposed to be a script for a screenplay or a screen thing, and I was like, it would make such a great movie. I think it would
Yes,
make a better movie than a book in some
that was
ways.
that was going to be one of my questions actually. Do you think it would be a good movie? Because both of the authors are screenwriters, and I can
Yes.
totally see that. But I thought it worked really well for the graphic novel format as well.
Yes, definitely.
Because if you think about it, it's not much different than a movie. You just have to read it.
Exactly, yeah.
So I read an interview that the authors were doing, and I had no idea that they were married.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's a
That's
fun
so
fact
cool.
for the day. Um, have you read either of these authors before?
I have not, no, but I did read that one of the authors had a short story in Jordan Peele's horror novel anthology thing, so I'd like to check that out eventually.
Yeah. So I actually read my first, I think we talked about this the other day, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna repeat myself. Tananarive Due, I read The Between, and that was weird. Very good, very weird. So that was my first book by her, and I read it for Blackoween, which is like a
Mhm.
month-long readathon where you focus on Black authors in October, like horror, spooky kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so that was my first by her, and it was very I like this one more, maybe
Mhm.
because I could visualize it better, but I definitely got the vibe of her writing style between reading these two. And I have not read Stephen Barnes.
Mm-mm.
He's written another graphic novel, the same imprint though.
Mhm.
Have not read that.
Gonna
But
check out soon.
yeah. So the cover is definitely giving me like Underground Railroad type of vibes. So
100% with the flashlight.
yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't read the synopsis. I had no idea what I was getting into. I just knew it was horror, and
Mhm.
that's what I wanted us to read for October.
Exactly for October, Halloween and all.
But yeah, definitely not Underground Railroad vibes at all.
No.
Um, but
Almost like generational trauma type beat.
yeah, I
Mhm.
guess so. That kind of fits. But I was not expecting. I didn't have any expectations, so
Yeah.
it didn't meet or not meet them.
Yeah.
What about you?
I didn't have any expectations either. Like you said, we picked this book on a whim because for once neither of us had read it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have read every single book in existence. Um, so I had no expectations, but I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was good going into it without the expectations because I
Yeah,
read the
exactly.
synopsis afterwards, and it was definitely good going in very blind.
Yes. So the book starts with her saying goodbye to her parents. Her parents are going out on a date. And then she like has like this vision that they die. So she
Mm,
wakes up and tries to stop them and then sees the accident, or that's what it felt like.
yeah. Mhm.
And then I was like, did they ever explain like her seeing things?
Oh. And I mean, maybe it's like residuals from for
The,
being used
the
in
ancestors passing
yeah.
back down. I was like, I kind of wish that would have been explored a little bit more. I guess that's my only complaint is
Mhm.
you start off with like this girl can see things, and then
Yeah.
there's another scene where she's talking to the bullies and is like, "You're
Yes.
gonna die," and I was like,
Oh.
she was just saying that to get them off her back, or maybe not, but like
Mhm.
I kind of wish that would have been explored a little more. Does she have like seeing abilities?
Yes, 100%. My
Um,
dog is whining. Let me grab him.
what are you doing, Bean?
He's the worst. He didn't want to be in here at first. But, you know, closed door.
Yeah.
Can't handle that.
Hi, Beanie
Come here.
boy.
Bee.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. The grandmother was a
Mhm.
very interesting character.
Yes.
Uh,
She,
so obviously there's a lot going on, a lot to unpack with her. Um,
yes.
the
A
fact
lot
that,
to unpack with the whole family. And
oh,
I almost like wish I feel like that's where this would have like really strived as a movie because it would have been able to give some more backstory and
yes,
just a little bit more honestly like ambiance, if that makes sense.
like
Um
how the flashbacks would have been visualized,
yeah.
I can totally see that. Because I think the book could have used even more flashbacks, getting the history and um,
Mhm.
but yeah, the grandma really wanted to do right by her granddaughter, and she was just old. And then
Yeah.
the aunt too. Like how as soon as you put on the record, she knew who you were.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I just felt really sad that she
Yeah.
had no one else to take care of her, but her grandmother really didn't want her to go into the system
Of
and
course
get
not. Yeah.
lost in the system. So it's
Yeah.
almost like that's another horror in itself,
In
not just.
itself, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, in the interview I was reading, she said the horror of the book is not the monster, but it's the being alone and being abandoned and the poverty and the housing insecurity and like all of these things that these people have to deal with. That's the true horror. And I was like,
100%.
that is so true. She said
Mhm.
it. Obviously, she said it perfectly. She wrote the book. But yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh my gosh. So then the grandmother dies, but like
Mhm.
she's okay. How would you explain the little vial in your own words?
Um, I
I'm
mean, it was drawn as a bunch of ants,
yeah,
wasn't it? Was it?
yeah,
And I thought that was interesting, the way she poured just a little bit out and made the circle.
yeah. The
And yeah,
naked book is ants.
mhm, mhm. Which is it's an interesting I feel like ants it's a good like creature to use because they work together so much and they are so strong individually.
And they can
Um,
build up into this big, big creature.
yes,
But the
yes. I thought that was
creature is a
interesting.
big version, didn't seem like a giant ant. It seemed
No,
more like
a shadow.
liquidy,
Mhm,
almost
yeah.
liquidy.
It didn't
I
have a face or anything.
oh,
It just kinda like
definitely getting,
spoke.
like, voodoo, hoodoo vibes
Yes,
from it. Um, it kinda looks like Swamp Thing on the cover, so,
it does. But you're
but
right, it never really does have a true physical form. It just kind of is what it needs to be in the moment.
it feeds on other people.
Mhm.
And that was the creepy part.
Yeah.
So, the grandmother basically sacrifices herself to save oh my gosh, Elisa? Aisha?
Aisha.
Aisha?
Mhm.
Um, any more thoughts on that? Sorry, I'm just rambling at this
No,
point.
you're totally okay, you're totally okay. I mean, it's really sad,
Yeah.
right? Your grandmother's dying wish is for you to be okay, and you have to just wake up and keep going,
Yeah.
even with the help of the keeper.
Keeper.
It's not
Yeah. She
yeah.
didn't the grandmother didn't want her to call anybody or ask for help, so she's living in this apartment with her dead grandmother and the
Mhm.
keeper. The keeper is providing food, like the basic needs.
Yeah.
She's still alone. And people start to wonder what's going on.
Mhm.
Like, how could you not? I don't understand, like, how more people didn't notice what was going on.
Yeah,
The
like
teacher wanted to say something, but I don't know if there was, like, a line there.
mhm,
It didn't really go much into it. The teacher was like, "Can you have your grandmother call me?" And
mhm,
then she had someone fake the phone call, and I think the teacher knew something
probably.
was going on, but they
And
didn't.
again, like, the teacher probably just didn't care as much.
Yeah,
So,
I would
that's
hope.
a whole other horror aspect.
Oh my
Nobody really
gosh.
cared what happened to Aisha. They
Yeah,
just wanted the money from the apartment or to
yeah,
bully her.
yeah. It was probably a rent-controlled apartment, and someone else wanted to take it over. What
Mhm.
was the boy's name? Do you remember the boy's name?
I do not.
Um, so his story was also hard. Darnell? Was that
I think so?
Darnell? He was in foster care and
Mhm,
had some other siblings, and I'm glad they became friends.
mhm.
He felt like she had someone else she could connect with.
Yes.
Um, did you have a favorite character in the story?
I mean, the aunt I thought was really fun or
Yeah,
really lovely. I think it was really good. It made it not completely hopeless.
yeah,
Like, so, like, at the very end, she's not, her whole family isn't actually gone, even if her aunt is very sick.
yeah.
And I know that they were able to connect a little bit over the existence of the keeper and all that.
The foster sister's boyfriend was a piece of work.
Mhm, mhm,
I'm flipping through. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. Um,
mhm.
he was not a nice man.
He, like, broke into the apartment, right?
Yeah, he
Or
was the one that wanted to like catch something going wrong or tell on them or
mhm.
something, steal from them. I think he
Yeah,
wanted to steal from them.
probably.
Yeah.
And the keeper took care of it.
Oh yeah, the keeper took care of everything. The
Mhm.
project. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
It was just so creepy.
Right?
Oh yeah, this is him trying to break in. And then the keeper takes care of it. Um, here's a good image of the
That's
keeper.
really nice, yeah.
Yeah,
It
so
could, like, move through walls and
yeah. It
all
was
that jazz.
the art was great because how dark it was.
Mhm, mhm.
I thought it was really well done. Um,
Definitely.
her hair was a major like focus for me. Like you could see
Mhm.
how there was no one taking care of her because her hair was messed up.
Yes.
And that was also like my mom used to braid my hair, so she didn't want anyone else to do it. So that made
Yeah.
me sad.
Yeah. It's a heartbreaking book.
Yeah, it really was. Um, but there was people that wanted to look out for her and
Hmm.
um in the end, I think it had a good ending.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I I think it maybe, like, and this is an issue I have with a lot of graphic novels, it just, like, ended very neatly.
Yeah.
All of, like, the ends
Everything's
were all
wrapped in a
tied up.
bow.
Everything happened and then it was over.
Yes.
But that's just a graphic novel thing. If this were made into a movie, I feel like it would have had a better ending, because you would have been able to have a little bit more time to expand on things and wrap things up in a way that isn't, like, perfect.
Yeah. Like, who knows if she would actually have been adopted by this foster family or if you just had the impression that she was
Mhm.
adopted into this other foster family. I know there's lots of paperwork and stuff that goes along with that. I'm kind of glad we didn't get bogged down by that. You just were kind of
Yes.
hopeful that like, okay, she
Mhm.
found a family to take care of
She's
her,
safe. Yeah.
found friends. Yeah, safe. It's a big one because she hasn't felt that in a while. And the
Mhm.
creature is gone,
Yes.
hopefully for good.
Mhm.
But
I also, like, I want more background on
Yes,
the creature
I wanted
because it was
more
introduced
flashback.
in the mines, right? And as a way to like save them from the mines collapsing or
Yeah,
something along
and,
those
like,
lines.
I feel like it was also a racism thing, like,
Mhm.
protecting them from these stupid white people. Um,
Yes. Yes.
when I was flipping through, I couldn't find, like, that exact flashback, but, yeah, that's the vibe I got. It was like it was basically created to save them from those hardships, to protect them because they needed
Mhm.
that at the time, and then it was just generational, like, was the house burnt down or something burnt down,
I think,
but the
yeah, I
vibe
think it,
lived,
yeah. Mhm.
um,
Because
and
the
there was
grandmother
something
lost
about
her
that
eye as well.
apartment, that
Yes.
particular apartment upstairs is where someone used to live.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, I just read this, why am I already forgetting? There but yeah,
You have
there's a
notes too.
lot of
I don't have
moving
the book.
pieces. A
Mhm.
lot of moving pieces, and I wanted to know more of the history for sure.
Definitely.
The
Definitely.
lore,
Yes. Yes.
but I still really liked it.
No, me too. I thought it was really enjoyable. It was a quick read and I got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Um, so and like even think I never thought about it through the lens of how it's just a horror story even without this horror character.
Yeah.
Just like the prospect of being left entirely alone when you are a person of color specifically. Um, not a lot of grace is given. So,
I've read a lot of social horrors lately. I feel like that's a really good way to categorize it. Like, yes, there is a creepy monster, but there's a lot of other dynamics
mhm,
that make it scary.
definitely.
Definitely the Jordan Peele vibe that you mentioned.
Yes.
Um, so who would you recommend this book to?
Um, ooh, that's a really good question.
Like readers of blank or fans of blank.
Ooh, yeah, that's a I mean, as you said, Jordan Peele, as I said as well. Because it's like that social commentary horror vibe.
Yeah.
Um, what have I read that's like it? I mean, I guess that's also a good thing that I can't think of a comparable read
Yeah.
like that I'm expanding my own reading styles.
Me too.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
definitely, you've been reading all kinds of things lately.
Yeah, lots of weird stuff. But this was definitely a standout. I think it was the only horror thing I read in October, like only strictly horror.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah.
This was probably my only horror graphic novels.
Hmm.
I read 7 books for Black Halloween. This was
Hmm.
one of the 7. I think everything else was a novel.
Hmm.
And their other book was this character is like schizophrenic. So it's a completely different vibe, like what's real, what's not real. Is this a conspiracy or is the government after me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, Completely different. But
Hmm.
I imagine that she has a lot of books, and I imagine a lot of her books are very similar. So if you've read one of her novels, definitely try her graphic novel.
Hmm.
Is my suggestion. But horror is the genre is kind of newish for me because I've kind of stayed away from it for no particular reason. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm glad I read it.
If
I
you're going into it thinking like, oh, this is like a Stephen King book, I wouldn't recommend that at all. I'd actually say please keep your whiteness away. Um, so it's definitely a yeah. It's
yeah.
not classic horror. So
No.
don't it's honestly a book you want to go in with no expectations.
Yeah.
I feel like is good.
And I feel like we didn't spoil it, so you can still go enjoy it.
Exactly. You don't know how it ends.
Um, but yeah, I'm glad we picked this,
Me
and
too.
it's it was easily one you can read in one sitting too, because it's
Yes.
engrossing and it's not one like, oh, this is creepy, I need to put it down, I'm gonna have nightmares. It didn't really give me that sense at all. Even
Mhm.
though the monster was creepy, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, he's in my
Yeah.
bed. Like, no, I never had that vibe of
Mhm.
that kind of
It was
horror.
an easy a digestible
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but it makes me want to like know more about how she like her writing process and um stuff like that.
Definitely, 100%. I would love to see a movie made by her.
Yes, please. And when I saw that it was her, I assumed it was an adaptation from a novel just because I knew
Mhm.
that she was a novelist. And then after the fact, reading more about her, I was like, this really does need to be a movie. And I'm gonna
Yes,
keep saying
yes.
that. Speak it into existence since we've been
Yes,
good at
exactly.
that lately. Um, I feel like we just keep repeating ourselves, but
Mhm.
that is the vibe.
Yes, that is the
That is
vibe. That's the vibe we're bringing to the occasion today.
yes. Did you have any questions for me
I
or to share with the class?
I don't think I do. I think we covered basically everything that I was gonna bring up as well.
Did you like the art style? I don't know if I asked you that.
I felt like it was a little plain at some points, but it was still good. It was good for the story itself.
Yeah, I agree. It
Mhm.
fit the story. And
Yeah.
I did like how it was dark and then
Mhm.
bright at parts, like
Definitely.
cupcake. So sad.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, like it got the creepy vibes for sure.
Yes, yes. I love the design of the keeper itself. So,
Yeah, really, really. Definitely Swamp Thing slash
yes.
voodoo.
Mhm.
It's all I can think of. Yeah.
What is your deal, Bean?
So if you like generational trauma,
Yes.
horror, and
Social commentary.
yes, very much. Definitely check this out.
Yeah.
So that's probably all I can think to ask or say
I
without
think I'm
repeating
about the
myself
same.
again.
Yes. We could talk about the same thing all night long,
We
but
could. We can talk in circles. We're good at that. So next, wait, it is November. So for
yes.
November, we might be discussing in December, but it's still the November book.
Mhm,
We're
mhm.
reading The
The
Ribbon
ribbon
Skirt.
skirt, which I picked, so if it better be good this time. It better
It's
be good this
gonna be
time.
good.
It
It's
looks
by
really good.
Cameron Muqua? I hope I'm saying that semi right. Oh my gosh, there's a turtle. There's
There's a
turtles in
turtle.
here.
Okay. A winner. Automatic.
Automatic win. So this is a good pick for Native American or Indigenous History Month or whatever it's
Both.
called. Um, yes,
Yes.
I'm excited. And it's all ages or YA.
Yes.
I don't remember. I think it's all ages.
Mhm. Mhm.
All ages book. We
It
haven't
looks
done an
really,
all
really good.
ages book yet. I think we've been only doing adult
Yes.
books.
Yeah, switch it up.
Yes, switching up. I'm excited.
Me
So,
too.
because of the holiday, maybe we'll discuss like the first week in December, like we did this month.
Yeah, that works.
Announcement to follow.
Yay!
So,
Closer to date.
check out The Keeper. It's very
Yes.
good. And then read The Ribbon Skirt with us.
Yay! Join us,
Please.
please.
We would love the company.
Oh my goodness.
Well, thank you, Tess, for joining me on this lovely
Of
evening.
course. Yes. Thank you as well. It's always a joy.
Give Beanie Boy a kiss for me.
I will give him so many kisses.
All right.
All
I'll see
right.
you later.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.